Hi, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Moola with the Experts. Our topic today is real estate. Real estate is a very vast topic and perhaps a little intimidating too. So, today we have with us Gaurav Jain, who will demystify real estate for us. Gaurav is a finance professional and a trained practitioner of real estate. He has over 2 decades of experience in this industry and has also authored 2 books on real estate as an asset class. A very warm welcome to you, Gaurav, and thank you so much for taking out time for Moola today.
Thank you, Meeta. Thank you so much. This is a good, I think this is a fantastic forum where you are trying to spread financial literacy. And I'm really happy to be a part of this talk today or this recording today. Thank you so much.
Awesome. So, should we just begin?
Yeah, we can do that, please.
Perfect.
If
So, my
you-
first question to you, Gaurav, is how does one really define real estate? Is it defined as just land, or is it buildings, or is it both of them, or much more?
So, okay, see the essence of real estate is basically land and building. So whenever we talk about real estate, it is land plus whatever is built thereon. But over a period of time, what has happened is that there has been a blurring of distinction because there's so much of builder, especially in India, when we talk about Indian real estate markets, people just take it as a flat or an apartment, but they forget that there is an underlying land to it. So one of the key learnings is that when you really need to understand how the prices are going to move in your area, one of the things you need to understand is see the land prices first. You know where they are headed because they are the ones which move faster first, and then the prices of the whole asset itself moves.
True,
So don't
true.
restrict your understanding to just a flat or a piece of apartment.
True. And what are the types of real estates? I mean, are there some categories of real estates?
Okay, see, the genesis of all real estate happens to be, land's been there for all the times, for decades, years, centuries, for forever. So the genesis of all land is mostly agricultural land, and then it gets defined as per policy, as per government policy in urban areas, and as per usage in rural areas, what it is being used at. And then it gets defined into, say, residential, industrial, commercial, or warehousing, and so on. So, one thing that one must always keep as an investor or person who's looking at real estate as an asset class is that you need to not fall into a lot of times, in your probably a lot of people must have seen in their vicinities, there are people who are selling land very cheap. So there is a government, there is a government plotted area which is selling for, say, X rupees or X dollars. Let's talk about the Indian market. So it's X rupees, and suddenly you have a plotted colony where a person is selling for X by 4. Why that happens is because there is something called the CLU, change of land use, which has not happened. And a lot of agricultural land is dished off as that you can make something on it and start staying in it, but that cannot happen unless it is converted. So
Oh,
that's where it's very important to know what is the actual category of the land that you're taking. Again, I refer back to your first question, that land is of primary importance in real estate. So whatever is built on, you may build a house on agricultural land, but then it is not residential.
okay.
So you need to get it converted first, the land converted first.
Okay. And how, I mean, if I can just very quickly ask, how do you get this land converted and who converts it?
Okay, so these are government procedures, and sometimes the government already marks out areas as zones, and then you pay a certain fees, and then you do it. Or the government could just allot that kind of land, saying that this is an institutional land, we give it to you, or we sell it that way. So it has to be from the government agencies. Those are the basic or the nodal agencies, which are basically the government agencies.
Understood. So tell me,
So don't fall. My point is, don't fall. The investor should never fall into the trap that this is cheap and this is just land and I can make anything on it. And the developer or the person who's plotting the land is telling me that tomorrow you can make a house on it. You need to see what is the actual use that it has been defined for.
Okay, so that's an important thing for investors
Yes,
to really know.
yes,
And what
yes, yes.
about people? So most people buy land or buy houses or real estate, I think, for their personal use. They either buy it to live in it or they buy for their offices, right? So do you think people should also, I mean, while you said that yes, land conversion is an important factor to look at, whether it's for your
Yeah.
personal use or probably for investment purposes, do you think there is a case really to invest in real estate for investment purposes as an asset class?
Okay, so basically what you're talking about is the kind of returns that it can generate. Is this
Mm.
what you're looking at?
I mean, in the sense that should people really have real estate as an asset class? Obviously, if it is an asset class, they would want some return on it.
See, there is no question that do people want to have it, especially in India. There are multiple studies where we see that more than, the studies have pointed out that Indians are really fond of real estate, and be it any which ways, they own more than 70 to 80% of their assets in real estate. So
Wow,
though we really call it an asset class, which is an alternate asset class, it really does not seem to me as an alternate,
it's the
you
main
know.
one.
Yeah.
True, true, true. So, what kind of returns and how do you calculate returns on your real
Yeah.
estate?
So see this now again the returns on real estate, if you see a trend of 30, 40 years, is a say between 12 to 18%. I mean, that's what I have gathered.
Wow,
Okay.
is it?
So, see, it's always a component of the risk-free return plus certain liquidity premium plus risk premium. All those factors get combined, and real estate gives that kind of a return. But a lot of times we see these jumps happening and jumps not happening. All that is very dependent on the category of real estate that you're purchasing. So, for example, residential real estate would give you, say, a 2-3% return in terms of rental value, but the appreciation would be more. Similarly, commercial would give you, say, 6 to 7% or 8% annually, but the appreciation would be lesser. But it averages out to approximately this bracket,
So,
which
isn't
I've
it
just given
risky?
you.
I thought real estate is a risky investment. There are times when real estate prices even dip, right? That's what happened during the subprime crisis.
I think it always happens in every asset class. So there are periods when things can dip and then things can improve, and there are times when we've all seen the times, especially in India, when everybody in every party, the real estate investment was the talk of the town, and everybody said that, oh, I bought this apartment or this piece of land, it's given me 2 times or 3 times, and I've put in just a small portion of my own equity, and I've got a loan, and I've really multiplied my investment. But you really need to see what the kind of returns the asset generates over a longer period of time. And in real estate, one could easily say that maybe the least one can look at is 5 years, but say even 8 to 10 years is the kind of holding period one should look at if one really wants to generate return.
And then
Some
you
kind of
say, and then you say over 8 to 10 years, the kind of returns you would probably get would be in the range of 12 to 18%.
12 to 18%, depending on the location, depending on things, and
Exactly.
but
So
but
that's
the
my
but the but,
next question to you,
yeah,
Gaurav.
please, yeah.
That where should you invest? I mean, where should you invest? When should you invest? What should you invest in? So those are things which are one is always confused about when one thinks of real estate investment. So if you could throw some light on that.
Okay, what exactly do you refer to as where to invest? Is I mean the categories, or I mean it's something that.
Which place? I mean, tier one cities, tier two cities. What kind of places should you look for? Should you look for a town? Should you look for a village? Where should you invest? I mean,
Okay,
the world is your oyster, right? But where should you
okay.
go?
So my first suggestion to people is real estate is a bulky investment. It takes away a lot of your money. So please take something that is within your control. So please don't take assets which are very far off, which are very difficult for you to control. That's one thing, because there is a lots of there in direct real estate investment. There is a lot of hands-on involvement,
Mm,
and maintenance.
mm.
Unlike say REITs, which are real estate investment trusts, which again I think they're very interesting and nice instruments which have come in. But if you're looking for direct real estate investment, you need to look at things which are near you. Second thing is that when you're talking about tier one or tier two cities, the tier one cities are like the blue chip stock, because wherever employment happens, things move. And it's so true with real estate. It's so geographically static that you need to see where the employment levels are higher. And this is where metropolitans have an edge, because the properties are always saleable. People are employed in metropolitans, and that's what drives the real estate prices.
And is there a
But
time?
if you
Sorry, continue.
sorry, yeah.
Continue,
So, but
continue.
if you're in a tier two city and you feel comfortable there, great, do that. You know, that's totally up to a person how he wants to use an asset or take it as an investment, or how much he can control. Because it's in real estate, it's easier to buy an asset than to sell it. You know, that's what I've seen. If you're far off, you are not going to get the right price. You're not going to be able to maintain it. There'll be so many other hassles. But if you know the place, and you know the asset is far more known to you, and you'll be far more comfortable keeping it, and really gaining from those times when you get that, like we just discussed, the jumps and things that happen in any asset, you'll be able to take advantage of that if you are
So,
comfortable with
so
it.
that gets me to the question: is there a right time to buy real estate?
There are lots of contradictory theories in it, and I'll just share my experience initially in this. So I used to just take real estate as a standalone asset. You know, that okay, it's a standalone asset, but in fact, it's really very, very deeply linked to whatever happens in the economy and whatever is happening in the debt market. And there are so many things which are happening behind the scenes that it just reflects on the real estate prices. So I think what you really need to keep in mind, I mean, you know about these things yourself very well. There are cycles in every asset class. So you need to keep that into mind, that real estate too has its own cycle. So that is something that you need to assess. People who you couldn't, it's very unlike stock, which is very, very fast in its movement. Real estate is a tad slower, so you get plenty of time to understand what direction it is moving if you keep your eyes and ears open. So that's when when everything is moving, your asset will also move. So I think that's far more important to look at what you are comfortable in, how the economy is doing, how that particular market that you are looking at is doing, and then you decide what's the right time. So if you see the economy is going to grow, the employment is going to grow, that's a good time. you know so
Awesome.
yeah. So it's basically a study of cycles, which would be a far more in-depth point of discussion. It would take a
True,
lot of
true,
time.
true. I totally agree with you, Gaurav, that real estate is a very, very vast topic. And perhaps we'll get back to you once more to understand the depths of it, and even talk to you about REITs, which is something you just mentioned. So thank you so much, Gaurav, for your time today and for your invaluable insights that you've given on real estate. I'm sure the viewers would have really benefited from it. And
My
let me
pleasure. Thank you so much.
thank you so much.
Thank you
And
so much, Mita.
let me summarize very quickly on what Gaurav has said today. He's talked about change in land use being a very important thing to consider where at the time of deciding on real estate, because if it's an agricultural land, then one cannot really call it residential, right? That's what Gaurav said.
Correct.
He also mentioned that people, you need to be aware of where you want to invest, and it's best to invest in places which are closer to you so that you can keep a track of it, right? Because there are many reasons for you to uh, you know continuously watch on your real estate, including things like maintenance costs, things like what's happening in this area, and when to buy and sell. And when anything is closer to you, it make you have more idea about it. So those are very, very important tips and very useful tips for our viewers. And thank you so much again, Gaurav, for your time. And let's meet again very quickly on Moola. And cheers for me for now, and bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mita.